Hey everybody. So yeah, we're working on this Angular voice analyzer. Um, Basically, it just to catch up. I built a voice analyzer that was in vanilla JavaScript. Works great. It tells you exactly what's going on. The reason we need an analyzer, or I feel like I need an analyzer, is because um, the voice API is changing and all that. So I want to be able to update it. I want to be able to, like, if I build a voice application, an application that's made for voice, I want to be able to, when it breaks because the API has changed in some way, some breaking change, I want to be able to go into my analyzer and get a good feel very quickly on what has changed. So the very first thing is like, okay, do we have the speech recognition API right now? No. Do we have the WebKit speech recognition API? Yes. Okay, so I'm doing this in Angular because I want it to look nice. I want it to be maintainable over the long haul. Let's see. First things first. I guess this is now the Angular voice analyzer. So I don't need that anymore. The future, and then I have I I have this in here. I have this logic, but I would like it to look a little nicer. Yesterday I talked about using checkboxes, but I think icons would be better. So let me just kind of go through the basics of adding an icon. Basically, you just go in, you grab this HTML. You can hit this copy button if you want, and then you come in here, come in here. Let's make this a little easier to deal with, and it is not happy, and it's not happy because it doesn't know the. So it's kind of nice because the IDE is sort of aware enough to know that uh, in this template is is associated with a TypeScript, and that TypeScript does not have any way of knowing what this mat icon is. So I have to go into the TypeScript, and the easiest way to do it is just kind of look over here, and you can see what we import in the API. So this is what we import. A lot of times it's not enough to import what you're using to implement their examples. In this case, it is. But basically, come up here, you import this, and I always do this out of habit because in my last job they had a linter that would get upset about those spaces not being there. Um, but then over here, you have to import it here, and then you also have to import it there. My understanding is that in some sort of, it's on the roadmap to get rid of the double import. Um, so you won't have to import it here and here. I don't know exactly what they're planning to do, but that's how you used to do it. Now, this used to be in the modules, but as you can see, this is a standalone, so I do not have a module. It's kind of funny because I just did an interview and they were talking to me about, like, what goes in your modules, and then he was trying to, like, I was like, that's how you set up sort of the structure of your application, blah 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 blah. And he's like, well, when you import things, where do you import them? And I'm like, oh, in the component. And um, and it took me a minute to realize, oh crap, they're on an older version of Angular and they don't have imports in their components. And yeah, that was weird. But fortunately, everything worked out fine. Um, okay, so now we have that. So now if we can go back over here, we'll see that there's no complaining, and we come here and we see our little icon. Now, I don't know why. You would think they would have a link here to a place where you can see all the different icons. Um, but they don't, and it is always weird. And, like, when you work at places, a lot of times you'll get a list of icons, but it doesn't support all of them. I don't know. There's a little bit of weirdness going on in icons, but this is the one that I want, this thumb up. So I could change this. font icon to thumb up. And you know, you just cross your fingers. Yep, that works. That's good. So this is what a screen reader would read to someone who, or would communicate. I guess there's all kinds of different disabilities. So depending on what the disability is, um, you know, the way information is communicated to the different people is different. So this area label is what you'd want to say. So this area hidden is false. So if it was true, this whole icon wouldn't be there, and that would mean that would be conveying the information that like this is just a purely decorative thing and means nothing to an actual person. Uh, it's just for aesthetics. But in this case, it will mean that the that that there is speech recognition. So I'm just going to change the label to the speech recognition API exists. And then, so that's what the screen reader would read at it when the user tabbed into there. So like in this case where I hit tab, let's see, should, no, for some reason it's not tabbing in there. And that's usually one of the things that you get. I'm just going to do an input real quick and type text. Or maybe let's just do tab index. Okay, so tab index of 0. This is a bit off topic because that's not really what I'm doing, but I'm very curious about this. Tab. Okay, yeah. So now, because I have that tab indexed in there, make a tab there. So if a user was, you know, was using a speech reader, and they would go here and it would say the speech recognition API exists. Now, obviously, we don't want it that one to show up in this specific space. So what we do, okay, so so the API or the Angular template language recently changed in Angular 17, and there's kind of one of three ways that I'll generally, because I don't necessarily remember it off the top of my head. Sometimes if I've just done it, I can remember it, and I believe it's like at if, and then whatever your condition is, like that. And so in this case, alternatively, you can always ask GPT, and then I also quite often reference this specific web page for in Medium that just does a pretty good job of sort of explaining it. So basically, it used to be like this, ngIf, and I believe that will still work, but now this. And I personally did not, I thought, I was pretty suspicious of this. I didn't really like this when it first came out because like back in like the mid 2000s, people were always saying, oh, you know, you're in your template. Okay, so back in the mid 2000s, like there were these things like JSPs and all kinds of different schemes for templating languages, and they got out of hand. And so everyone just sort of settled on this concept of, hey, your HTML your HTML should look like HTML. So that's kind of what this is, right? It looks like HTML. It has this in here, but in general, this whole thing looks like HTML. This does not. This looks like scripting language. I thought that was a mistake, but after having used it for a bit, I do like it. So as you see, we don't have it there. We can also do an else on this. So if it doesn't exist, then we can just go like this. And the speech recognition API does not exist. And then thumb down. we need an at. All right, let's look. Look. At else. That's what I did, right? Oh, I don't have the mat icon, the closing tag of the mat icon. Let me just tab that out. And voila. So it does not exist. We probably should give it a class. Class equals, and it's positive, positiver, and class is negative. And then let's go ahead and just look up some good, nice shades of green. Shades of green. Let's see. What? That is not RGB. So weird. Oh, okay. So I really like this one a lot. HTML color codes. And I think like you just kind of want to use like, I think fern green is a good one. Forest green, I think forest green is really good. So we can click on forest green and get this one. So we can come in here and dot positive is color green. Oh wait, and then dot negative. And it's always a good idea to get one that's sort of, I don't know what this is. This like on the palette, I guess, is how that would, how you'd say. There we go. My Jack Russell Terrier's over there making some weird noises. She's okay though. She's just laying on the bed. So now let's go look. So that looks good. Are you okay over there, Daisy? You okay? All right. All right. So let's go ahead and get the other one. So now it's pretty easy just to copy and paste this whole thing. And let's spread this out. And you know, like, I mean, to be completely fair, this is like a lot of, it's a lot of work, right? To get these things working. The main advantage is it's consistent. Like every time, it's the same thing. So, okay, so the web AP, the WebKit, and then you know, like every time in every project I work on, you know, that it is Angular, it's this same scheme. Right? There's lots of problems, there's lots of issues, but it's the same problem, same issue every time, so you can get, you know, good at it, and it looks nice, you know. So anyway, so the that is step one. So obviously, I think what we, let's see where we are on time. 14 minutes. Wow, that's a long time. So I think, you know, next time I'm just going to sort of move these little symbols to the left. I'll probably put them in a table and then align them. And then maybe put the false and true in the, you know, like maybe have 3 columns, and then that false, and then speech recognition API WebKit, like that. Or yeah, or maybe no, I guess maybe I'll leave it in this order, but I'll just put them in a table, and then align, get these things to align properly, so that we're all on the same, so that everything doesn't look kind of haphazard like that. Like I said, in the last video, the next few videos are probably going to be more orientated around like small issues like this, just kind of trying to get everything right. We definitely need, let me see, styles, body height. Uh, I'm just going to have a margin 3px. Let's see, just so it looks a little better. Everything isn't quite so jammed up. But yeah, so basically everything's just, because these are kind of one and done kind of things. Like, so it's a good idea just to kind of take your time while you're putting it together at the beginning, um, and then you never have to worry about it again because this should all just keep working uh, from here on out. Anyways, happy coding, everybody. Bye.